Welcome everyone to episode 109 of Cocktail Hour. I'm Andy.
And I'm Rev.
Who's messing with the recording? And with us is the fantastic Colette Moody.
Hello.
I wanted to ask you, what is that? I'm going to put your avatar up. So, what is this? Where did it come from? What do you got going on there?
That is Elizabeth from BioShock Infinite with her skyhook, which is what you use to basically you latch onto cables and fly around the city. And if you time it right, of course, one of the feats is if you land on somebody from the skyhook and kill them, which is awesome.
That's even better. That's awesome.
It's so cathartic, let me tell you.
You know, that's from that. Xbox One, they've got the backward compatibility. The BioShock series I believe they're coming out, and they're on the coming next. So they'll be out soon. They'll be out soon on Xbox.
Yeah, I like all the BioShock games, but BioShock Infinite is my favorite.
All right.
That's the one with the city in the clouds, right?
Yes, that's the one that takes place, I think, in 1912.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So, yeah, and it's, basically a theocrat has seceded from the United States, and he has this Christian city in the clouds where, things are segregated and, it's as you would expect it to be in 1912, but a little bit more Jesus-y.
A little more Jesus-y?
Well,
yeah.
I try to stay away from things that are a little more Jesus-y, but, it's fine.
Well, I mean, it's it is not an endorsement.
No, I imagine it's not.
Yeah. You kill a lot of those people. We'll just put it that way.
Oh, well, added incentive. All right, well, as soon as it comes out on Xbox, I'll grab that.
Yeah, so the initial BioShocks were actually under the sea.
Yes.
And they take place in the 50s and early 60s. So even though BioShock Infinite is the third one, it's actually a sort of a prequel.
Gotcha. All right, well...
Yep, we should talk about the book.
But first, we have housekeeping.
We do. That's my cue.
Housekeeping!
So. No, it makes me think of Tommy Boy.
I love that movie.
I know.
I haven't seen it in 20 years?
I think we had it on the other day.
Oh,
yeah, I went to sleep to that one. And then I think I woke up in the morning and all I could think of was fat guy in a little coat. I love that. All right, so we've got two different sets of winners from previous shows. So I'm going to go kind of not in order, really. So so on one of our recent conversations at the bar, we had Jo Bell on, and she offered up a signed copy of any of her books, and we picked Wilma to win for that one. So yay. I will get Jove your email address, and then she will be in touch with you to make arrangements. Sweet. The other giveaway that we have is when we had Anne McMahon on, and we ran out of time. It was such a lively discussion, and for anybody who watched all the way to the end, I got a little excited and cursed people out and just cut everybody off. You missed that one, Colette. It was a lot of fun. Yeah. So we have two paperback copies of Backcast and an Audible version to give away. We picked Reet 339, Spaz Dog, and Amy to win. So I will get Anne your email addresses, and then you guys can all work out which of what you want. Okay? So that is taken care of.
Congrats to those winners too. Congrats to those winners as well.
Congrats to all the winners.
God bless us, everyone.
That's all I got. I got nothing else.
That's all you got?
That's all I got.
Well, we asked Colette to join us because, any excuse will do. But we wanted to review Dean Koontz's book, Ashley Bell. And yeah, we. I think all of us listen to the book, and yeah, I think it's going to be a lively discussion, especially if Colette starts throwing things at her new sofa. Just saying.
Yes,
Oh,
we have good news. Colette got a new sofa. Yeah.
That's right. I got a new sofa today.
Oh, I got a new sofa.
Right. So that made up for having to read this book.
See, I liked it. I'm really looking forward to this discussion super much. So I do want to say hi to Carol. Hi, Carol. I can see you watching. Like, I can't physically see you, but I can see that you're here. So, but I'm
going to start watching you. Oh, my God.
Carol, I love that shirt.
Brewers in my hair. No. I need some more.
Oh, slow down there.
So you're having whiskey, and Cheri is having vodka and beer. I am having tequila and a margarita.
Wow.
Nice.
So we're representing all the food groups.
Are you drinking a blended margarita or an on the rocks margarita?
On the rocks.
I'm sorry. It's faster. I have to break in. Carol says, shirt? I'm not wearing a shirt.
Oh, well, that goes because I'm not wearing pants. So this is perfect.
Oh, my.
I bet Andy's not wearing pants.
You got a naked person on the line is what I'm hearing.
What?
So between the two of them, we got a naked person on the line is what I'm hearing.
That's right.
No shirt, no pants. Just saying.
I'm fully clothed. I even have socks on. So
I feel like, Andy, that should be your slogan. No shirt, no pants, just saying. Right? Can you make that like your email auto signature or something? Because
no shirt, no pants, no what? No service?
No shirt, no pants, just saying.
Just saying.
That's like perfect.
She has that on a sign right outside her bedroom door.
Yeah.
Don't joke.
I'm drinking. Oh my God, that could have been disastrous. Anyway,
let me pull up the thing for Ashley Bell so that I can read the doodah, because
read the summary.
Yeah, because that should happen. So this is Dean Koontz's brand spanking new book.
Oh, is it brand spanking?
It looks like it just came out a few months ago.
I don't even think it's been out that long. Let's see.
I thought it came out like December or something.
Oh, it did. Fine. It's fine. Okay. All right, fine. December.
And it has begun.
Okay.
The contentiousness has begun.
And you can look for more.
All right. So, okay. So it says, I'm going to read this just to get Colette primed. Okay.
Okay. Get primed up.
So right before I'm on Amazon, or right before you get to the blurb, it says in all bold and caps, #1 New York Times bestseller named one of the best books of the year by Bookpage. This must-read thriller of the year for readers of dark psychological suspense and modern classics of mystery and adventure. Colette's like, fuck that. Okay, and so here's the blurb. Oh, I'm gonna have to burp here, I think.
Burp?
I'm gonna burp on the blurb.
It's apparently part of the blurb, is how I interpreted that.
The girl who said no to death. Bibi Blair is a fierce, funny, dauntless young woman whose doctor says she has 1 year to live. She replies, "We'll see." Her sudden recovery astonishes medical science. An enigmatic woman convinces Bibi that she escaped death. She can save someone else, someone named Ashley Bell. But save her from what? From whom? And who is Ashley Bell? Where is she? Bibi's obsession with finding Ashley sends her on the run from threats, both mystical and worldly, including a rich and charismatic cult leader with terrifying ambitions. Here is an eloquent, riveting, brilliantly paced story with an exhilarating heroine and a twisting, ingenious plot filled with staggering surprises.
Staggering.
Ashley Bell is a new milestone in literary suspense from the long-acclaimed master. Okay, no.
Well, it may be some kind of milestone.
Okay, I don't agree that it was that good, but I did enjoy aspects of it, which we will soon get into. So that folks is Ashley Bell. Ashley Bell, a novel. In case you weren't really sure that you were getting a novel, they've helped us out by putting it right there on the cover. Okay. All right. So, who wants to go first?
Well, there were so many diverse characters in this story, and I can't even remember all their names. It was like crazy.
Well, let's start with the fact that their names, I feel like the names were just made by throwing Scrabble tiles onto a table. Like, nobody had just a regular name.
No, nobody did.
Except for Ashley Bell.
She was the only one that had...
That's the only normal name in the whole book.
What was the mom's name?
Dude, I don't know.
Nancy. She was Nancy and Malcolm. They were close. Everybody else was Pogo, Paxton, BB, Calida. What was that?
What was her name? Calida Butterfly?
I made a note on that one. She's like, okay, well, what was your name before it was Butterfly? And she goes, Calida Caterpillar.
Yeah, that was all kinds of wrong.
So I did enjoy that there was another Scrabble, mystical Scrabble tiles again, which was also present in the book that we did that we talked about not that long ago.
In December.
Nosferatu. Yeah.
Right.
More December. Yeah. So that was fun. So okay, so here's the deal. We'll just kind of get into it. So BB Blair. We're introduced to her. She's a young woman who's a novelist. She was only like 22, 23, something like that.
22 and a published novelist.
Yeah, she definitely did not seem like she would be 22. That seemed pretty young for the character herself and for the things that she's done. She's got tossed out of college, and the timeline didn't seem right to me at all. So anyway, it opens up. We discover BB, and she suddenly, like, it's like she's having a stroke. So she gets her mom to take her to the hospital, and oh my God, she's got invasive brain cancer.
Rare brain cancer.
Very rare invasive brain cancer.
And the like Latin name of the brain cancer could easily have been another character name in the book.
I don't remember what
something cerebri, and I'm like, oh yeah, caterpillar, butterfly, cerebri.
I really didn't give that much thought to the names, but I mean, outside of the fact that BB was kind of ridiculous, and then there's a reason for it. They give the information about why she was named BB, but I didn't care. Like, I actually wanted to quit reading the book. Like, for the first, I don't know, 6 chapters, I sent Andy a text. I'm like, this is boring as hell. Please tell me something happens soon. And she's like, yeah, hold on. There's some twists. Just keep going. So my first complaint, besides the ridiculous name BB, is the chapter where from the mom's POV. What was the point of that? The beginning of the book just seemed really kind of bogged down. Was the whole point of that just so that she could take her to the hospital? I don't get it.
I don't know.
Who cares? The mom was such an inconsequential character. I didn't care.
I don't know. Yeah, I was bored with, I would say, the first half of the book as well. And I think one of the things that exacerbated that was how detailed he gets in his descriptions of, I don't know, inanimate objects in the room, and how, oh, that takes me back to that time when I was 11 and I fell on my ass doing a thing, and I was like, yeah, I don't care. I don't care
Yeah.
about any of this.
Yeah.
So I found it kind of hard to sift through. It was hard for me to separate the wheat from the chaff.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, how much of this stuff is significant and is going to matter when we get further on? And the answer, dear readers, is nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, that's true. It really felt bloated, and there was so much stuff that made no difference to the story at all. And some of his similes, and I just wrote this one down, and this doesn't qualify for the best line ever, but I was putting laundry from the washer into the dryer when this one happened. I had to stop so I could make a note. The butter of paranoia spreads across the bread of life.
You like that one, did you?
I just.
And then what? We eat it, or what?
It just seemed kind of ridiculous to me.
You drop it on the floor.
Yeah. Okay. So we're moving on a little bit. So she ends up with this diagnosis of this fatal, progressive, aggressive brain cancer, and she says, I'm not gonna die in a year. We'll see." Like it said in the thing, that's what she said. We'll see, and then she sleeps. She goes to sleep, and then the next day, I guess, she's so then in the middle of the night, she has a visit from a hooded man with a dog, with a golden retriever. And the dog gets up on, puts his front paws up on the bed and licks her hand, and she's cured of the cancer. So
Are you sure you liked this book?
I did, but
right.
I didn't like really anything until stuff started going and things started being uncovered and some of the twists. Then I was like, oh, well, that's interesting. Mm-hmm. So she's cured, which, I mean, all of this just sounds like utter bullshit. And so they call security in, and they're looking at all of the security guard. Oh, his name is Chubb something, I don't know. And so the security guard comes in, and he's like, there were no dogs here. There was nobody here. So they pull all the tapes, and they can see the guy and the dog walking in someplace, but they can't figure out why the dog and the guy are there. And they certainly can't figure out why she is now free of cancer. So her parents take her out that night to celebrate. They have a bit too much to drink. Her parents are surfers. Her dad owns
Oh my God, that
surf
pissed me off so much.
What did
Not
you
to
say?
interrupt you, but
Go ahead.
there was nothing quite as frustrating. All the things about this book that frustrated me, there was nothing quite as frustrating to me as the constant need to translate at what those fucking people said.
Yeah,
and it just, why? Why was that necessary to make them surfers? And, oh, don't be a dingly-dat, dude.
Walk the board, BB. Walk
Meaning,
the board.
Like everything that they said sounded like some random word pulled out of somebody's butt. And then they'd have to say, the surfer word for sad. Like, just fucking say sad or some other English word for sad. I mean, is that really necessary?
It was. It had to set the scene.
And did you feel like it did?
I don't
feel like that gave some kind of ambiance or realism to it, because I didn't really get a sense that any of these were real people.
No, I don't think it lent anything to the characters. It kind of, to me, honestly, it kind of made them feel a little ridiculous, and that they were trying to be too young.
It took away from the story for sure, because it took you out of the main storyline with a bunch of filler that didn't really make a goddamn bit of difference to this entire story, and it slowed down the pacing.
Exactly.
Characters. I mean, they didn't feel real. They didn't talk real. You didn't give a flying rat's ass, and you just want to move on. And I know what Cheri was saying in the first 6 chapters. She's like, "Oh my God, is something going to happen?" Because the pacing was wrong. And I don't know who his editor was, but somebody should have dug in there and said, "I know you're Dean Koontz, but seriously, dude, you got to retool this shit." That's what they should have said.
I mean, because it's not like even, in the first 6 chapters, nothing happens. I mean, a lot happens.
Well, you know
but between that and the perpetual jumping forward in time and back in time and forward in time, it was making me, so listening to this audiobook, there's so many little chapters that just when you felt like you were actually learning something about these characters or you were getting some kind of understanding of the backstory,
we have to move to someplace else.
Yeah, it would be like she would never know how terrible it was going to be. And then there'd be a pause. Chapter 162. 17 years earlier. She has shat the bed. Like, what? What the hell? Why are we doing this?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it was. It was. And it felt like toward the end, it just got to be kind of ridiculous where, there would be, you're almost there. You almost have everything kind of laid out, and then, boom, back again. That was frustrating. That was frustrating. But there were good aspects of the book, too.
Okay, go ahead.
Hey, Colette's like, what were they? Because I'm not really sure I caught any of those.
Okay, I'm going to tell you, the first one that I really, really enjoyed was when, after the celebration dinner, right, when BB was cured, goes to her house, there's candles everywhere, and this crazy-ass woman with tiles in a bowl. Now, that whole scene, I thought, was really well done. It was kind of had a creepy factor to it, and then of course there's a little bit of action there. So I like that. That one kind of perked me right the hell up when I was getting ready to give up. I'm like, no, and then whoop, there was that.
The only thing I didn't really like about that scene. Because honestly, that's the first scene where things are like, oh, okay, there's going to be some mystical, weird things going on now, which I like that. So, but I didn't. It didn't seem logical to me that somebody who's been doing this for a really long time. I don't know. BB's the one who picked all the stuff and got all the answers. She's and for especially the first one. I mean, the name I can see that she would have gotten the name not gotten the name right, because that name as soon as she saw it, she knew Ashley Bell, right? So what happened is she goes and Colette first she gives her a massage and that's all nice and everything, and then she's like, well, do you want the second half of what your parents paid me for? And
the happy ending.
Yeah, and everybody's like, oh, I don't know, I didn't know she went that way, but okay. And she pulls out her Scrabble tiles and says, well, you wanted to find out why you were saved. Let's find out. And she has her pull some Scrabble tiles, and they're arranging them, and BB they come up with a few different things, or Colette, Butterfly, comes up with a few different things, and then BB's looking at it, and it says BB works out that it's to save someone. And she's like, well, yeah, it saved me, but no, there's somebody else that needs to be saved. And that's when they pull the letters and get the name Ashley Bell. And that's when everything starts rolling. For some reason, she has to find and save Ashley Bell. And then the rest of the book is the unfolding of who Ashley Bell is, where she is, and why it's essential for BB to be the one to save her. and I don't know if we want to do a lot of spoilers. I don't really think we have to do spoilers because
Since it's so new, it might be nice not to.
I mean, outside of there's not really a lot. I don't know. It's not. I don't know. But then she goes off to find Ashley Bell and
He's
talks
been kidnapped by some evil bastard, and
yes.
his men. And what was that evil bastard? There's another weird name.
Something Terrazine.
Terrazine Birkenau.
No, is it Birkenau Terrazine?
Something.
Right.
Yes. He's essentially a neo-Nazi, except nobody seems to care, and he's building this army. So you have like these what seems to be this two different factions inside Terrazine's thing. One that doesn't really care if he succeeds or not, and one that does want him to succeed. I didn't really get that. So BB's off trying to find out who has Ashley Bell, and I don't remember why she went to go talk to Terrazine's dad. His original name was something Faulkner. Oh, she gets a call. That's right. She gets a call from him. Doesn't she go back to Callida Butterfly's house the next day to get something, and Callida's been hauled off in a SUV, and there's blood around and blah blah blah.
And her fingers were left.
Oh, right. And then there's a phone call. When did she get this phone call? And the picture of Ashley Bell is there. So she's this young, like 13-year-old girl, something like that, right?
Right, and there's a address spelled out in Scrabble tiles.
Right, which of course, since Callida is the one who picked the tiles, the address is wrong.
Yeah, she's not very good.
She's not very good at her chosen profession.
Uh-huh.
So it takes her a little while to unscramble the Scrabble tiles and get them correct with the help of her GPS, which is crucial to the story.
Absolutely.
The GPS. So somehow, I don't remember exactly how it goes, but Terrazine calls her up and says, "I've got Ashley Bell, and you will never find her, and I'm going to kill her on my birthday in a horrible way. The Jew girl is going to die."
And I'm sorry, none of that, even still, makes any sense to me at all.
I don't understand it either, and I don't...
okay, well then I feel a little bit better. So between that and the jumping back and forth in time, right, and then the fact that the current story is not making sense to me, like I'm not getting people's motivations for what's going on, and then periodically we jump to Afghanistan because BB's fiancé is a Navy SEAL, and we have to know all details of all of his missions while she is in the hospital.
I don't understand why any of the guys, like, we get to find out about his guys that he's on the mission with. Well, now I'm liking this book a lot less, Colette. I'm kind of mad at you about this.
Wait, hold on. But this, I think, and I read somewhere, this is at a first in a series. So he may be laying out extra groundwork for the books that are going to follow it. I'm just guessing. It might be. But when I listened to the book from start to finish, and yeah, some things were really confusing. And I thought after, and I know this is really simplistic, and I'm probably way off the mark, but he set it up so that you get to meet this really smart, amazingly talented, where she's able to tap into something greater than herself, a valiant girl that's greater than herself, and she's got this huge, amazing imagination, right? Cancer, boom, she's passed out. What happens next, except for the interspersal of her parents and Pax, is like now it's a whole different world in her head, and the bad guy, I was thinking, you know what, the bad guy is the cancer. Right? So she set up this whole second world to fight the cancer and to save herself, who was Ashley Bell. So this is where I went.
I agree with that, except I don't think that the bad guy was the cancer, because he I don't want to say what happened with him after, but he seemed to be kind of independent of that. I mean, I
But
agree with
cancer,
you on everything else.
it can lay in your system and it can recur. I'm just saying. People that go through remission and then also they
Oh,
have
yeah,
cancer.
yeah, yeah. Maybe.
It just like a wild flight of fancy. It hit me like oh, maybe
Yeah.
that's like, oh.
You know, once everything got rolling, especially once you figure out, so that was kind of a big deal for me. So I don't know that I don't know if we should spoil that or not, because once I figured out what was going on with that storyline,
Mm-hmm.
that was one of the things I enjoyed, because I was like, this is bullshit. She just wakes up and she's cancer free, and now she's gonna go do all this shit. And the Hermiones, I wrote down, why didn't the Hermiones ask her a question? Oh, the black ops guys are after me, or they're in this bookstore. So she has escaped, and the bad guy calls her up and says, you can't talk to anybody. If you call your parents, I'm gonna kill them. You're on your own for this. And Pax is in Afghanistan. Oh, also BB Pax Heat, because Pax is a Navy SEAL and she knows how to shoot. So she has her shoulder rig, which she refers to it constantly as her shoulder rig, which that bothered me. I don't know why, but I think a lot of my problem was the way he wrote it, like the actual style that he used to write. There was a lot of half this, half awake, almost heard something. How do you almost hear something?
Yeah, I can't answer that. But, I mean, there were also, I mean, aside from the surfer lingo, hey, Glip Glop, you're looking really spritzel-nicked today. And then we'd have to spend a couple of sentences trying to decipher what the fuck that meant. I didn't feel like people had like unique voices. So
They all spoke surfer.
even when we meet Ashley Bell, right, who is a child, she is using words that I need to look up in a dictionary. I just felt like there were a lot of $10 words that, to me, distracted me from the dialogue itself, and ultimately, to me, made everybody sound the same, except for the surfer lingo.
I didn't get that impression, though. I didn't. I didn't like surfer lingo. It was aggravating. But no, I thought they were all very unique. Except for the mother and father. They seem to kind of interblend those two.
The mother really turned me off. I just didn't care for her at all. And I even right from the beginning, I don't have any idea what the purpose of. I think that kind of ticked me off. Why are you giving these different people a one chapter, which is tiny, POV, when that information could have been conveyed in a different way instead of making me go, why the fuck am I hearing from her?
Maybe he wanted to throw everybody off. Maybe that was part of his process, so that you were always a little off-center when you were reading it, so kind of like BB was. I don't know.
But that was before she got sick.
Yeah, but he did it intermittently when she was sick, too. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out.
I don't know. Maybe. I liked once she got rolling and got in her head what was going on, like when she was in the hotel, and there were a lot of really creepy things going on, like when she's in the hotel and somebody's trying to get in her room and she sees all these little things in her peripheral vision. I liked that. Yep. And huh?
He's crawling in bed with her.
Oh, that was really interesting. So when BB was a little girl, something really traumatic happened to her, and you don't get to know what that is until almost the very, very, very end, although it's alluded to constantly, which also kind of, this thing that happened. But BB doesn't know what it is because her grandfather, the Marine captain, who lived in the bungalow, I don't know, on the same property that they lived in when she was a kid, taught her how to forget things. He had been in combat, so he had learned this method of forgetting something that was really traumatic. And whatever this thing was that happened, BB was 5, and she convinced him that what she thought she saw, she really did see, and he was creeped out. He said, this was the most horrific thing I'd ever seen, which
Which was so not horrific. Did you laugh through that entire scene like I did?
A good deal of it I did. But then I also tried to put myself in that as a 5-year-old. And now, thinking back on it, Colette, when you're talking about the words that were used, there's no way. I mean, that definitely didn't feel like a 5-year-old retelling the story either.
Well, and it didn't feel like that was necessarily, like, I didn't feel like she was behaving the way that a 5-year-old would behave either. I mean, she's 5. So to have this conscious thought of, well, I could not go and tell my parents because blah, 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 blah. Like, to have this rational...
right there, like, and I couldn't do that kind of stuff with my parents, but I still would have been like, oh, let me in the fucking room.
Right, exactly. And I kind of had the same feeling, when Pax and Pogo...
Pogo, they're just like, oh, cool, okay.
Yeah, I mean, they were so chill. Like, they show up, and BB is in a coma, and they're just like, oh, let's go snoop around and see what we can figure out. I mean, I felt like there was no sense of urgency on their part. There was no, maybe we should get back to the hospital and see what, like, weird shit is going on at the hospital, and they're like, let's, I don't know, let's go to her place and see what's,
But then they did find stuff at her place. They found, which was actually, but that was, I thought that was an interesting, I liked what they found and how they kind of put it together. But again, it was not believable at all. Just the way that, so BB's in the hospital, her ear is messed up. She's got a tattoo rising up out of nowhere.
She did not come into the hospital with.
Right. Well, they're watching it emerge onto her body, and Pax is hearing her voice in his head. None of this really strikes him as odd at all.
And none of that, and at least in my mind, is ever really explained. Like, how does she speak to him telepathically? Where did that come from?
Well, no, but it does. It is kind of explained. Well, part of the reason that I mean, because she isn't aware of what's going on, but she's starting to figure it out, right? With the disappearing letters, and I mean, I kind of called bullshit because Pax is like, oh, she's trapped in there telepathically. We have to go find her.
Hey, let's go to her place and see what there is. And we'll make ourselves some eggs. And
would that be your first thought? Would that be your first thought? Like, oh, she's trapped someplace in some other dimension. Let's go find her. And Pogo's like, dude, I don't know. Let's go.
That's totally flail, brah.
She's walking the board, brah. She's walking the board. Okay, so, but there are some. I did enjoy once things got going. Once she was out of the hospital and doing stuff. But I mean, I still like her old teacher or two of them.
Yeah, those people were crazy.
Yeah,
and there was like,
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was like, none of these people are real people. I just couldn't get past the fact that they all seemed like caricatures.
Some of them were.
I don't know. Let's think about the characters. I think maybe the most real one old woman, the old Jewish woman who
Okay.
wrote the book that was based
Mm-hmm.
on her, I think, maybe.
Okay.
That's all I got, man. That's it. That's all I got.
Yeah.
Maybe the dad of the bad guy,
Okay. Yeah.
the
He was
shop
in there
girl.
for how long? There was that person who walked through the coffee shop. They seemed real. I mean, you're not talking about main characters.
No, and I didn't. How did she find him, and why did they know her dad? Like he's like,
Didn't they
was
find? I listened to this a couple weeks ago. Was it because they had used to live in that house?
no, 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 no,
Had a
no.
citizen live in that house? What the hell was it?
No, so she goes off. So she can't figure out the address for Ashley Bell. The address that Calida Butterfly left for her. She still hasn't been able to figure out the address. So she decides she's going to go see the bad guy's dad, whose last name is Faulkner. I don't know how she finds this Faulkner
Oh,
dude,
right.
and I rewound it and I was like, wait a minute. Did I miss something? And then she's just like, well, I can't find this one. So driving down this highway, the fog is blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I don't get it. So then she goes into the silversmith shop. And the woman who's working the counter, she's like, hi, is so-and-so Faulkner in? I wanted to talk with him. And she's like, yeah, go on back. And BB's like, I don't really know if I can go back. And the lady says, do you know him? And then she says, no, he knows my dad. And then, oh, who's your dad? Oh, it's Malcolm Blair. And oh, yeah, he's awesome. Yeah, he's a really nice guy. And she goes back and she sees the guy and she's like, oh my God. And then it's because, oh, you know my dad. Oh, yeah, he's a great guy. Why does he know her dad? Was that discussed earlier? I think it was just like, what? And
I don't remember.
I got nothing.
yeah, I don't know. And it was little things like that I got kind of caught up on. Like, well, why is that happening? And then I think later on it's just because then you kind of I chalked it up to, well, it's because it's all a big fucking dream. Sorry, guess that might have been a spoiler.
Major spoiler.
Well, it's not really a dream because it's not really a dream. So she's in the hospital and she's got all of her brain waves are going at one time. It's kind of a spoiler.
Things are popping out of our arm, brain waves are going crazy. Yeah. All right, so we've talked about what we don't like about it. So, what part of the book or what part of the story did you perk up and go, oh wow, that was cool? Any part of it?
Do you want to go, Colette? Do you have any?
I was thinking.
Oh, okay. I'll go. I had several parts when I perked up and I enjoyed it. The whole gingerbread man thing, even though it was it wasn't something like a 5-year-old would do. It was still enjoyable, and I thought it was interesting, especially the way that he describes the gingerbread man once it's out, and I thought that was really interesting because I think, well, I would never have. I mean, it was gross,
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was good. I liked the creepiness of it once things start happening around her. I liked that. I liked the dark feel of it. Once you could get to that, I like the way it ended, even though I had to rewind it to make sure that it was ended. And Andy's like, I think the copy I got is messed up because I think my copy was bad. And I'm like, well, once I got done with it, I'm like, well, how did yours end? And she told me. I'm like, oh no, that's it.
Yeah, but I think it ends in the middle of a sentence.
It does.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, I think we lost a couple of sentences.
No, it says, and he, like, then it was like, and he keeps waiting, ... right?
Yeah, but that Yeah, but no, that's it. That was it. And I don't think it was. I mean, I could look at the ebook, but I don't think that it was. It made sense to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
What about
I
you,
I
Colette?
I enjoyed the Hermione's.
They were funny.
Yeah.
That
And
part I enjoyed the Hermione's, but my first reaction is, why are they helping her? They don't even bother to ask a question. But I like them as characters.
mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, they were fun. They were definitely fun.
What about you, Andy? Oh, I'm sorry, Colette, did you like anything other than the Hermione's?
I'm still thinking. I, I mean, I think I could have if the things that were irritating me weren't so pervasive throughout the rest of the, it's like if something just started to get good and really interesting and kind of creepy, and then it was like, and then she saw it. Pause. Chapter 196. 13 years earlier.
Mhm.
She was
Yeah.
eating a peach. What?
There were some good there were some good creepy things, and I like the thing that she saved from the grandpa and stuff like that. I think my favorite part is when she started realizing what was going on.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then it stopped so much with I mean, there was still a lot of back and forth, but yeah, I mean, when she's like, she reached up to touch the thing in her head. She's like, "Whoa, what? I don't, the electro bloody blue."
Mhm.
But I don't know. Hold on. And do you want to go, or do you want me
I'm
to
just thinking
read
about how
comments?
it was a little kind of creepy that she saved that chunk of skin and hair on it from her.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
That was that was kind of creepy and kept it in her keepsake box. Or was that her? What is it? What do they call the trunk that you section before you get married?
Your
How's it
Your
called?
hope
your
chest?
hope
Yeah,
chest.
the hook. It's like it wasn't a hook. It's like, oh, what? No, that's kind of gross.
When it took me a while to figure. I kind of suspected there were some aha moments for me, and I don't know if maybe I was a little slower on the uptake, but it took me a while to. I mean, I had some suspicions like about Jasper the dog and stuff like that, but once I find it, then it was like, oh, that's kind of
See, but
cool.
that kind of thing took so long to
Yes.
get resolution on
Yeah.
Yeah.
that, I mean, because that was almost kind of the first stuff that happened, or at least
Mm-hmm.
the first stuff that happened in flashback time, was we
Yeah.
hear about the dog, and then there's all these mysteries, and then anytime Jasper comes up, they're like, but of course, that was, because of dot dot dot, chapter 96, 12 years later. Like, why can't I know where this fucking dog came from? And it
Yeah.
took like, 3/4 of the book before
It
you
was
actually find out the Nancy Drew mystery of the secret dog. Um,
true.
and maybe I just don't have the temperament for his writing, and this is the only thing by him that I've ever read. So
Oh, this
maybe
is
he's like this all the time. I don't know.
no, he's not. Like, I just read Intensity, which is an older book, but I read it last month. I think it was last month or the month before. It was January, February. I think it was February, and it wasn't anything like this at all. I mean, shit happens, you move on, and shit happens. It's not bogged down. I think this book could have been cut in half,
Could have been a novella.
and would have been better.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Would have been faster paced.
It was so much that nobody cared about. I mean, most of the stuff that happened, I don't see how it was even relevant. Maybe not most, but I mean, a good deal of, like, all of the
Mhm.
stuff in Afghanistan. Don't care. Didn't make any difference. I don't.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that that wasn't just me, because I was
No.
like, why do I need to know all the details of your secret mission and all the
The,
people in your battalion with you?
I
And
mean, we had to go through one of the guys. Didn't one of the guys in the battalion believe in ghosts or saw something and go, "Who gives a shit?" That didn't have anything to do with why Pax was all of a sudden, "Oh, I hear BB. Oh, I hear BB." she's trapped.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, I don't think that this was so different. I thought than Intensity. And I read another one of his when I was a teenager, which I had to think about again because this guy's been well, but then Stephen King has too. I read him when I was a teenager too. So I read another book by Dean Koontz. I think it was called The Mask. I looked it up not that long ago because, and I know that I was really young. I had to be like 11 or 12 when I read this book because I didn't know how to pronounce Aristophanes, and there's a cat in the book named Aristophanes, and I thought it was Aristophanes. So whenever I see the word Aristophanes, I'm like, oh, it's Aristophanes the cat.
Awesome. Did you never read The Watcher about the dog and the beast?
No, but here let me do some comments because Carol actually brought that up. The first one she said is, okay, it sounds like Colette would have preferred stabbing herself in the eye with a sharp stick because it might have been less painful than reading this book.
Oh my God.
Well, I stuck with it.
You did. Trooper.
But if it had just been a book that I was reading for my amusement, yeah, that would have been in the bag for the thrift store.
I wouldn't have gotten past the first 10 chapters. I don't think. I was really bored by it, and I just didn't care. I didn't like BB, right away. I definitely didn't like her mother. I'm glad I stuck with it. I got a lot of enjoyment out of it, even though it doesn't probably sound like it. What other book did we read that we ripped the shit out? Oh, Nosferatu, I think. Didn't we rip the shit out of that book?
I think you ripped the shit out of that one, and that was one that I actually liked.
I did too.
Oh, no. It was The Winter People.
Oh, yeah.
Jennifer McMahon. We all liked the book, but we just ripped the crap out of it. Yeah. The lemur-eyed girl.
And I'll stick with you till the day you die.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. And Carol says, I haven't read anything by him since the 90s, but I recall thinking a couple of his books were interesting / good, especially Watchers, which was published in 1987, and Phantoms, which was published in 83. Wow, he really has been writing forever, hasn't he?
He has. And somebody told me once to read Lightning by him.
It was good.
But I never got around to doing it. So this ultimately ended up being the first Koontz book for me, and I was like, no, never again.
Oh, man. That's not a good book to cut your teeth on with Koontz.
Yeah.
And Darla says, this is awesome, do your taxes chatter. Thanks, ladies. Oh, I still have to do my taxes.
Well, and if you listen to the audiobook, it's awesome, do your taxes audiobook.
Yeah, there you go.
Because it's like, once you get into doing the attachment for your individual charitable contributions, when you come back, you won't have missed anything.
There were a lot of parts
that I
just
alluded to. Somehow she got a dog. You won't have any kind of closure on that. You won't understand it any better. Yeah, and then you'll be in Afghanistan, and you won't know why.
The bad guy's there. That's where the bad guy is. Oh, but not the bad guy that we actually care about. Sorry, I didn't mean to lead you astray on that one.
Right.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I don't know. I enjoyed it more than Colette did. I think Andy probably enjoyed it more than I did.
I think it's almost even. So my question is now: would either of you two recommend this book?
Yeah, I probably still would with the caveat that try to get through the first 10 or so chapters, and if you're still not into it, let it go. I will say that I thought the narrator did a good job.
Yeah. She did.
I thought she did a really good job with the different voices and the pacing, and I thought she did a very good job. I probably if I was reading this with my eyes, I wouldn't have. I just would have either. I wouldn't have made it. I don't think.
It'd be like Colette and I were Gone Girl. We just couldn't make it.
Whatever. Colette read Gone Girl.
You didn't finish?
Yeah,
Huh?
I got about 75% through it.
Yeah, she didn't finish it.
I don't want to talk about that anymore.
Wow.
We're not talking about that one anymore.
But you know what? I probably was more into that book than I was into this book.
Yeah. This book wasn't. I mean, it wasn't. I don't know. It was I thought it was entertaining. There was some interesting concepts. I think the concept was really interesting itself.
Yeah, agreed.
I just think the execution, by the time things really started happening, I didn't care all that much. I wasn't really invested.
It's all about the characters, right? So it's about their believability, it's about their interaction with each other, and it's about how much I like them. And that's where Gone Girl lost me, because they were all rat bastards.
Yeah.
Right? Every single person was a horrible harpy.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like, wow, well, I could just shut this book and think that they were all in a plane crash, and I'm good. Because I don't care what happens to them, because I don't like them. And while the story is interesting, the people are horrid. Whereas that wasn't necessarily the case here. To me, there was just no depth to these characters. And what I felt like he was trying to do, like in lieu of character development, there was just exposition.
Yeah, I didn't. I mean, talking about the character, I didn't really care about any of them. I didn't care about Ashley Bell for sure. I didn't care. I didn't care really what happened to BB. I mean, I like the idea. I like the concept. I thought the concept was really interesting, and her awareness of what was going on, I thought was interesting. I like that. I liked all of the idea behind the story.
So is this the possibility of what happens when you have been an author for decades and you've written tons and tons of books, and then you don't really have anybody who really stands up and edits your work the way that they would edit a new author? Is that kind of what this is, do we think?
That's what I got. Honestly, that's what I had mentioned earlier. They need an editor to go, I don't care that you're Dean Koontz. You need to do this and clean this up, or make it faster, drop this shit because it doesn't farther the plot along or progress the storyline. So yeah, that played a lot into it.
And I mean, so does that happen to Stephen King and all of these other authors that have been cranking stuff out for decades?
I would assume so, because Stephen King had some pretty shitty books for a while.
The more recent ones.
Mm-hmm. I haven't read anything of his in a while, because the ones I was like, I don't give a shit about any of this. So I don't know, but I heard. I mean, I heard that, like, whatever one with the JFK thing. I heard that was good. I don't know. I haven't read anything of his in a while.
I read it, and I was like, really? I can't get any of this time back.
Oh, really?
Really?
Oh, I don't know.
Didn't they turn that into a miniseries?
Or Hulu, I think it's an exclusive over there.
Huh. Because, I mean, it did look really interesting, so just not good execution.
Just give it a try.
Uh-huh.
If you have a Hulu subscription, give it a try. If not, go to the local library and get the audiobook and listen to it. I just remember thinking, oh, that's really cool. Oh, that's really cool. Oh, that's really good. And by the end, I'm like, well, I wish they all would have died. Jesus Christ.
That's how I felt about Gone Girl. I looked up Dean Koontz, and I did notice that he and Stephen King share a haircut. A haircut that is inappropriate for a middle-aged man. And, I also thought it was kind of funny that like, the picture on his website or wherever it was, that uses a diffusion filter. And so he has, like, this bowl cut from the 60s, and he's clearly not a young man, but he's, like, here, take my picture through this gauzy filter. He's very Gloria Swanson on Sunset Boulevard. Like, I'm thinking that he has a problem with mortality.
That's not right.
Carol says maybe that's what happened to Patricia Cornwall.
Oh, maybe.
I haven't read any of her books.
I stopped reading her as well. I don't know. Maybe they start believing their own hype, or if they're masterful storytellers and they can't, crank out a shitty one. I don't know.
I know. I heard that about her, though. Anyway, like I said, I've not read any of her books.
Very good. Her first few books were really good, and then I don't know. They just went off the rails, and I just couldn't read her anymore.
Well, there you go.
Hopefully, she doesn't also have that haircut. Because I would hate to think that there's some sort of correlation.
Okay.
They're all the same person.
Right.
Oh, God. That's not right.
Oh, Carol says the early ones were really good. Then she got psycho.
She did. She really. It's when that guy she was dating, the Kay Scarpetta's boyfriend, Benson Mom, or whatever the hell his name was. When he died, that book, everyone after that, it just like, whoa, what the hell? I don't know. Just maybe she broke up with her girlfriend at the time. I don't know. But the rest of them just, I couldn't read them.
Well, what we need to do now is we need to figure out which book we're going to do next. I'm not picking. I picked this one. I'm not picking another one.
Why is that?
You pick one.
No, I picked it.
Oh, what? This one?
I picked Ashley Bell.
You did?
I did. Not knowing what the hell I was getting into, but I did pick it, yes.
Oh. Carol says all the demonic stuff went overboard.
In what, Ashley Bell?
No, in the Cornwall books.
Oh.
No.
Well, but that could have been just that whole Da Vinci Code trend, right?
I don't know what the time frame is.
Yeah, I don't either. I'm really just guessing, but it did seem like there was a time when, because the Da Vinci Code and the Dan Brown stuff was so big, it seemed like everybody was kind of jumping on that bandwagon. So really, I'm completely spitballing here. I have not read any of these books, and I don't know what we're talking about.
All right, have another drink. So, okay, so we're about done. Would I recommend this book? Yeah, Carol, I think you'd possibly like it if you stuck it out. I think Carol would like it. I don't know, Carol. I think you stuck with that Willow Rose bullshit, so I think you could definitely stick with this one.
Well, and not to mention, if you go to the library, you didn't spend any money on it, so there you go.
Yeah,
win-win.
Exactly. So we have. I'm gonna share my happy news. Colette had happy news. She got a new couch.
Mm-hmm.
And I got happy news today. I found out that I'm gonna be in another anthology. So this one is Finding Ms. Right, and it's all the stories are supposed to have something to do with books or women who like books. So my story is about a librarian. And
librarian story.
it's as close to romance as I will probably ever get. And I'll
do that.
Yeah. It's kind of creepy anyway.
A little bit, yeah.
I will say my wife was really upset with me because nobody died.
Oh, well, you can kill him later. Make a second look.
that could work.
There you go. All right, so next show is on April 2nd, and we're going to have Susan Maher back. How we love Susan. And we're going to be talking about, probably spoiler-free, she's going to be on. We're going to be talking about Summer of Love, which is a little period piece back in the 60s in Chi-Town, I believe. Yes?
Yes.
So yeah, so tune in for that. There you go.
Yeah. Carol asks, romance with mayhem. It's potentially romantic. It's kind of like a comedy. There's a lot of swearing.
No, life lost.
That is exactly what I like.
Yep. Romance and swearing.
There's a lot of swearing and maybe kidnapping. I don't know. We'll see.
But there won't be any Smokey Bender in there, so you'll be all right.
There will be no Smokey Bender. No. No, there will be none. There will be no Smokey Bender. Okay, so we will come up with another book. I don't know. Do we have anybody on the schedule for May already?
I'd have to look. I didn't look.
All right. Well, we'll get Colette back as soon as we can because we love having Colette on.
We do. Especially when she's feisty and tore up. We love that.
That's right. That's right. So if you guys have a suggestion for a good book, oh, sorry. See, I get these comments, and then I had to look it up at Willow Rose. I dropped her in the second book. I know you did. I couldn't even get through the first one. They're bad. The concept is good, but English isn't her first language, and apparently she refuses to allow anybody to edit. I don't know, but they're really bad. They're very, very. She writes a new one like every 2 weeks. I don't know. They're super bloody and gross. But I couldn't get past. I couldn't get past the words. But if anybody's got a good idea for a book for us to do with Colette, put it in the post a comment. Let us know, and we're always looking for something good and creepy, and we don't have a lot of limits,
We don't, honestly.
Mm-mm.
All right. Well, we will see you next month, and all be well, and enjoy whatever holiday you celebrate. I think it's coming up. Something's coming up. Easter, right?
I believe so. Yes, Easter.
Yeah. So if you celebrate, enjoy. If you don't, pig out and drink. It's okay.
There you go. Happy Zombie Jesus Day.
All right. So long, all.
Bye.